You think about back in the day when we used to have a bill with the elders.
Right.
And those little ciphers, like if we had the devices we had now to hear what a squirrel or a matern or any of those brothers, like those valuable lessons, those small bills on Tamaray could be very key to what people are going through right now.
Man, oh man. Them little bills on the line, oh my goodness, bro.
I still remember the bill, I think it was in 99 with my turn. And he was doing the security.
Man.
And I think a couple brothers circled around him.
Yep.
And the bill got so good that he was still policing the land.
Yep.
But the crowd started going bigger and bigger. He started walking. And he's like, yo, y'all want this to continue? I got to go up here and secure, but y'all more than welcome to come with me.
I remember
you just think about that bill. And how great that bill was. How a lot of what he said about, what we going through right now.
Yeah, he stayed giving them jewels. Remember, like you say, he was on guard duty, and he just was like, yo, listen, it just turned into a build session, man. So it pulled him off of his post. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, it did.
The spirit pulled him off of his post. And he had to get a relief to go hold him down. The circle started getting bigger and bigger, just like you said, man. And he wasn't even assigned to do it that night. He wasn't even assigned to be out there like that. And he stayed giving jewels anyway. He stayed dropping jewels, man.
Yeah, you could always tell, even when he would come up, he was doing what he was doing in Brooklyn. Like, you could always find him building. Like, you can tell that was his life.
Right.
That was his energy. Like, as long as he was able to do that, whatever little personal things he may have been going through internally, that was his outlet. That was his medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if a lot of us had those outlets externally, internally, as a family, as a tribe, we have to understand we need those outlets.
Right.
We need that outlet to just say, even if it's negative, you got to get it out of you.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a cry, if it's a scream, if it's a yell, if we could just get to that point where we're not so emotional to just let people express how they feel, pain, the hurt.
Mm.
A lot of people have through a lot of pain with Pops not being here.
Right.
I don't think we really realize that. We went from a period of, as Mukmanoon and Mukmanati and the little faithful boys and faithful girls are being taught by the master that this is how the world would be. That the world, in a sense, would be our oyster. And it would be accessible to us. And these are the things that would happen. So to have those things just stripped from us, I don't think we thought mentally, physically, or spiritually. Pop was, for some people, their world.
Exactly.
He was the only reason that they didn't commit suicide or give up on life or whatever the case may be. It was him. It was that opportunity to see him every day, to see a smile, to see a wink, for him to crack a joke. That was their life. The world didn't matter. And when he got taken away and so many other things transpired, it was like, I don't have an outlet. I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm upset.
Right.
I don't have an outlet. And, we need an outlet to express ourselves so that we can get over the pain and we can actually start transmitting that energy of ashuk, of love again.
Right.
It is hard to get on that vibration and that frequency of love because, Pops always, it's love. But it's hard to get on the frequency of love when there's so much hurt in the way. On that path of love, as we were taught back in the day, like, you got to stay on the Siratul Mustaqim, the straight and narrow path.
Right.
But how do you stay on the straight and narrow path when pain, when hurt comes in the midst? How do you stay on that path? And for some of us, Pops was the only path. He was all they saw. He was all they witnessed. He was all they needed.
Right.
So imagine having that taken from you and deal with the turmoil and, the inner fighting and all of these things. Like, people, we need a point where we can get everybody in a room and everybody can just say what they feel. If some people don't like it, if it's about other people, life is not beautiful always. It's not beautiful. It's not supposed to be beautiful. When we look at a woman give birth, we see the beauty of life.
Right.
But prior to that process of this baby being born, there's a lot of chaos. There's a lot of turmoil. There's death in the process of millions and millions of nerves and cells that die just for this life to come forth. So in the midst of all of these things, people need an outlet. You need an outlet. You need something that you can get off your chest that allows people to see, this is why I feel this way.
Right, exactly.
And until we get to that, we're going to continue to have these little small things that are really petty because we couldn't see the big picture. Remember, Master always said that the ego is the biggest enemy to our progress. It's our hindrance. You ever see a post on Facebook and 50 people will comment about one little small thing, and this one little small thing gets blown out of proportion.
Right.
And people who've never seen each other, who've never touched each other, who've never cried with one another, who've never broke bread with one another, hate one another.
Over a simple post.
Well, the way I see it, well, no, but see, the way I see it,
right.
And it's always, remember, the I, the me, the myself, the ego, it always comes back to I. We need those outlets because, for some people, Jesus is the only reason they haven't committed that, or Allah is the only, and I think as we grow and become better teachers, and the way you become a better teacher, as the Master always said, what's those three principles? Evidence, experience, and reason.
There it is.
You have to go through those experiences. You have to go through the experience of, I may not be able to reach everybody. And when you come to the realization that even the Master in his glory, in his greatness, he wasn't able to reach everybody. So why is it so hard for us to put our ego aside and somebody says, I just don't get it?
Now, for those who don't know who you're speaking of, when you say the Master, you're talking about who?
Oh, no, none other than His Excellency, Reverend Dr. Malachi York, affectionately known to me as Gebab Rayay Atum Malachi Kobina York, and for the old schoolers or true schoolers, Saeed Isa El Hadi Al Makti.
That sounds like you've been around for a while, bro.
Yeah, I've done a little traveling.
Okay.
I've done a little traveling.
Yeah, but you hit that right. That was a great point when you're talking about outlets. It is very, very important in any observation when you give up something or when something is taken away, that area, that place, that void needs to be filled. And quite often, individuals do not fill those voids with anything. Sometimes when those voids are there, people do fill them with negativity. So an outlet, not just an outlet, but an outlet in regards to something that enhances one's way of life for the better. I would say, for me, doing what we're doing with WNT9 Radio, this is one outlet for myself. When we were recording music, that in that era was an outlet. So you are 1,000% correct when you say we need outlets.
Speaking of those outlets, when we talk about Dr. Malachi, all of the great things that he's given us, even in his greatness, he saw we needed those outlets. So he created different outlets for those who came into the nation. You may be a drawer. You can help with the designing of the books.
Right.
You may be an architect. You may be a singer. You may be a cook, a chef.
Right.
So let me create these outlets that are all coming once they're plugged in to one source, which was him. But he had to create different outlets that would allow people to express how they felt so that he could listen to what frequency you were on and then say, you know what, come here, let me teach you something. I hear your frequency, I hear the tone you're on, but let me get you on this tone because I created an outlet for you to express yourself in a world that didn't create an outlet for us.
A safe outlet, because a lot of things, yeah, that's one thing I did recognize is that he always made sure that there were safe outlets. It's not so much what you do on another level, it's how you do it, who you're doing it with. We've had parties, we've had celebrations, we have everything everybody else has in the world, but we do it amongst ourselves, those who we live for and by, and in that, we find a level of comfort, we find a level of even protection, just knowing that we got each other's back. To me, there was, and I've been, involved in several different schools under the master teacher, Dr. Malachi York, as well as others. And there really, for me, there was never really no experience that can touch the experiences I got when I was, under the teachings of the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York. I still have, family outside in other organizations and fraternities. I still have relationships with those individuals, but it's nothing like the relationships I have with those other sons and daughters of Dr. Malachi Z. York. Those students are like no other on this planet, man. For me, So you again, great point, bro.
I mean, you look at a place like Tamarack and how many different people from all over the world, walks of life, that would have never known each other, never had the opportunity to meet one another had it not been for this great man. And, you look at the conditions of the world and the things that are going on in the world, and you're not going to tell me that some of us who have the opportunity to experience Tamarack are not thinking to ourselves, we wish we had Tamarack right now, because it was an outlet. We knew that we would be safe, that we wouldn't be exposed to the conditions and the things that are going on in the world today. But again, as we spoke about earlier, it's about creating those outlets that allow people to express how they feel, so we can get past those hurts and those pains and those angers.
Right.
Because we don't know. We don't know when that time is. As the master used to always tell us, no man knows the day and the time. So if we're not creating those outlets to allow people to express themselves, because people are a phone call away, they're a touch away from, things going left field.
There was an artist that I used to produce years ago, and he had a song called "One Touch Away," one check away. And the song was basically about him being one paycheck away from losing his mind. Every time he made any money, it had to go right back out into something else, mostly bills. An individual who's just working just to pay bills is going to have a whole lot of tension. And he did a song called "One Check Away," and talking about how he was just, he was about to lose it, and if it wasn't for that one little tiny element, his version of God, his version of, what he defined to be the result of his moral compass, he's about to do some damage here, man, and that reminds me of that. So many people are on edge, and a lot of people that I talk to offline, off the air, they don't even realize it. So again, this platform here that we're doing is inspired by that. So I really appreciate that conversation, that topic you building on outlets. That's really powerful right there. I mean, I think we probably need like a good hour on that, and bring some other people in, and join in on the discussion, because that's just powerful, man. A lot of people don't even know they're one check away, They're one step away. They're one word away from snapping. You hear people say it sometimes, but you never really think they are really there. And then you see people smiling, and you never really think that they're there. You see people laughing and joking. And usually comedians are the closest ones to the edge.
Exactly.
An individual who smiles is the closest one to the edge. So, that's real, man. That's real.
Yeah, I'd like to just chime in on that. That's part that you said, because when you look at the world, you look at everything that's going on. I like to always consider myself as a person who I think that's one of my gifts that I've kind of grown into seeing as I've matured in age, and that's the ability to be able to see the bright side, the light, when everything appears to be dark, or the dark when there's that chaotic light. And so when we look at the world, for people who may have been bombarded with a job, not having any time to spend with their kids because they got to pay those bills. If you're a person that, you wanted to fast or cleanse, but you didn't have the time because you were working too much. We take for granted those moments where we are able to sit down at the dinner table and have those personal discussions with our children and just have that interaction, that family time.
Right.
So we have to look at, though it may seem like there's chaos, sometimes nature steps in to say that you need a time out. And there's a blessing in what's taking place if some people can see it.
Right.
Because now you have that time to fast. You have that time to say, I don't have to go to work right now. So let me concentrate on some other things. Let me concentrate on that business that I've been thinking about, but I didn't have the time. Let me spend some time with my children because I have the time. Let me take some personal one-on-one time with myself, because we spend too much time giving our time to everyone else and our jobs and never personal one-on-one development to see our own growth. So if I could give a little jewel to those out there who may be going through some personal things, they're stressing, we hear all of the reports on the news, find beauty in chaos because it's there. There's all this beauty around you. There's all this chance for change. There's all this opportunity to heal broken relationships. There's all this opportunity now to fix things that were broken, and it's all a phone call away. It's a touch away. It's a smile away. How many times have you been in a room with someone and you both got the ice grill or the meme mug? Thinking that there's chaos between the both of you,
right? And
all it took was a simple, "Yeah, where you from? Where you from?"
Right.
It's that simple. It's that simple, and we need those outlets. If that's the phrase for the week, or the phrase for the day, or the phrase for this show, is become an outlet, become a vessel for people.
Powerful.
Because you don't know what people are going through, and they are a smile away. Think about how many people we've lost, within the last year. Think of all the chaos that we've seen just within the past 3 months.
Right.
You would think 2020 was a long year, but we're 2.5 months in. So we're definitely being bombarded, and people are scared. People are fearful, and they need those outlets. And sometimes you have to be the outlet. Stop looking for an outlet to come to you, but you be the outlet.
Right. Exactly.
You be the receiver. You be the one to pick them up. Sometimes it's a simple hi. Do you need anything? No, I'm good. Okay.
So be what you're looking for. Be what it is that you're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's powerful, man.